in the studio with Akil Esoon, Pittsburgh legend on so many levels, producer, MC, accomplished pianist, keyboardist, and just a great man, a great person. How you doing today, brother?
I'm very thankful to be alive.
That's a great answer, right? You know what? I always wanted to know, just from watching you, first of all, when did you begin realizing music was that thing for you?
Well, I think I started doing music since I was just a little guy. You know, I used to, my uncles played different instruments. They played guitars and pianos and synthesizers and records, DJing. So I was raised with Bob Marley in my house, Ray Charles, all the great gospel music from my, upbringing. And then I used to go to church in Homewood, right on Frankstown Avenue, Zion Church of God in Christ. I'll never forget it. And after church, there was drums there. There was an organ over in this corner. There was an old rickety piano in that corner. And I used to go after church every day and just, like play on the instruments, you know what I'm saying? So I started out kind of like that, and I was in the 4-H club when I was a little boy. My parents used to have.
What is that?
The 4-H club was like a little organization made for young brothers and sisters around America to have something to do, and it would teach young people, how to speak up for themselves, how to use communication skills and different things like that. And I was flourishing in that. So that kind of was the start of it all. And then eventually I went from Gladstone Middle School in like in Hazelwood.
Yeah.
I grew up in Homewood.
Yeah.
I moved to Penn Hills. I got shot.
Oh.
Got shot 5 times. And I was blessed because I'm still here. So my mom and my grandmother and everybody, my father was killed as a Black Panther as a child, so I never really had a relationship with my father. So my mom was mommy and dad. And my grandparents, my great-grandma, my grandma, my uncles all helped raise me. And they ended up moving me out to Penn Hills. And I remember being there just flourishing. Hip-hop had came out. We was young, doing the robot and all that, and beating on tables and rapping. And my boy Benji used to be the human beatbox. And I used to rap with another friend named Pierre. And we played the Penn Hills Middle School talent show. And from there, that's when it all started. It was the beginning of me.
Now, I've seen you do a lot of things. Most recently be involved with Formula 412, who's just this phenomenal band, rap, hip hop, metal. You can't even classify this band. Yeah. And here you are on the keys just going, bananas. But if you listen to the music put together and you listen to what is being said in the music, it has a lot of structure and it has a lot of rebel type feeling to it. Do you think that spirit of your father, being a Black Panther, does that come and play to any of the type of music that you make?
Well, more so, I think it's the spirit of just my ancestry in general. As a Black man in America, being conscious of the fact that I'm lost in the wilderness of North America, I always have a certain disdain in my heart for certain things. Most Black people in general, especially Black boys that grow up without a father, have insecurities and issues, and you mix that with finding out that your people have been enslaved, finding out how they were treated, and finding out that your people at one time, taught the world to be civilized, and then all of a sudden they're slaves. And even to this day, it just bothers me that, like, when you talk to someone who is of mixed ethnicity, they don't never really know how to say the Black part of their heritage. They say, I have, Swedish heritage or Irish heritage, but then they say, then I'm half Black. Like, I'm part Black, part Irish, Swedish, Japanese, all these other things, but the Black part, you just part Black. So that always, and from that, I feel my personal anger and rebelness and my, ability to feel like I need to go against the system and the status quo. So, a lot of these artists nowadays, they don't have a reason why. They just do it because they can. Whereas, I feel like, I'm trying to keep and preserve the legacy of Black music for those that died so that I can do it.
Now let's talk about the legacy of black music. You know, naturally we pioneered pretty much every type of music out here, and with this new kind of music, this hip hop music, you see a lot of music being made with the drum machines, or I call it synthetic music. You know, you get the pretty boy. Ooh.
How about one of these?
You got the pretty boy.
Or
wait a minute. Oh, see, what you know about that?
But V8.
And that's beautiful because there's a lot of dope stuff being made from these instruments,
no doubt,
or computerized instruments. But let's talk about the importance of people who say they're producers, or you know, first of all, as a producer, please explain exactly what a producer and an engineer is, the difference too.
Well, there's a huge difference in my opinion from my experience of doing music. First of all, like a music producer doesn't necessarily have to play music. You know what I mean? They don't have to necessarily be the one pushing buttons and, you know, doing all the different things that it would take to create music in today's environment. You don't necessarily have to do that. Mark Ronson, Dr. Dre, Quincy Jones, these are shining examples of producers who know how to direct people and musicians. They know how to call musicians the perfect singer for this particular track, or the perfect bass player. And that's kind of how I fancy myself as a music producer. Someone who knows how to arrange music, someone who knows a little bit about like what sounds would be best to occur here, what things would be good to fall out here. You know, that's what a music producer is. A beat maker, for example, is someone who just can make a beat, just that. Like someone who knows how to get on whatever program or machine and make a beat. A beat is not a song. A beat is a beat. You know, usually it takes like a vocalist to make a beat come to its more song structure. But when you start to learn how to like arrange and produce music the traditional way, you start to learn that, you know, you as a producer or a beatsmith can learn how to arrange your music into a song format, an intro, a chorus or first verse, a chorus again, a bridge, you know, a modulation at the end where the song goes from one key to the next, like Beyonce's on top. People don't understand how to do these things, but yet they're so quick to be like, vote for me at the hip hop awards and do this and do that. But
let's talk about the traditional way. What if a young person came to you and said, "I love how you do this. I want to be just like you." What's the first step when it comes down to producing music? What you tell them to do?
That's a very good question. The buttons is just the best at all times. So take it from me, I know.
Thank you.
The first thing I think I would ask them to do is to make sure that it's for them. Everybody ain't built to do this. Just because you have a talent or you have a wish or a want or a like to want to do this thing, you would definitely need to probably check your heart first. Your heart is the most important thing in making music. People need to have heart before they attempt to do anything, in my opinion. So if a youngster, which they do, approach me and ask me a question, it's always, you know, how do you feel about it? Like, how do you really feel? Do you really want to do it? And if they can come back with something more real, like if they have something that they feel like they need to express or they need to say, then music is the perfect vehicle for that. I personally think that, like, there's too many people who could do music nowadays out of convenience. Because we have smartphones and these digital machines, they could just do it. It's so easy. You could download drum sounds. When I was coming up, we used to have to use records. And find the right find the kick drum.
That was the fun.
Yeah, that was the fun. And we learned. Music, because there's Quincy Jones, Grover Washington Jr., and War. And you had to find the breaks.
You had to find it.
And the melodies, and you had to learn how to produce a record like from scratch, from that way. And then as I grew and learned how to play instruments, multiple instruments, that's when things changed even further.
Let's talk about that. You do play multiple instruments. Exactly what it is do you play?
Well, I have many guitars, as you see, basses. I have an upright bass over here in the corner. I play all different types of synthesizers and keyboards. So I play about 9, maybe 10 instruments. I play a trap set, percussion instruments. I rap. I write poetry. I sing. You know, even though I'm not a great vocalist, so to say, I still write and sing. I just have music in my heart. You know.
I was going to ask you, what does it mean to you?
It means everything. What does music mean to you? It means everything because to be honest with you, music saved people's lives, and I'm not away from that. I'm a part of that. Music saved my life. When I got shot, Later, I got stabbed here in my arm. A guy tried to stab me in my chest. I moved out the way, hit me in the arm. I used to beat people up every day. My knuckles still have teeth marks and swollen calcium deposits from just beating people up every day because I was angry. You know, my mom worked 2 and 3 jobs to support me. She was rarely around because she had to work. She couldn't come to my shows. I had an issue. I had many issues. My dad wasn't there. So just like any other black boy in the ghetto, what do? You go to the ghetto. The ghetto's there for you. You know, the gangs is there for you. The drugs is there for you. All the other things that the world has to offer is right there for you. And, you know, I was on a fast track to destruction, like being killed. So, you know, being that I had the courage and the heart to stand on a stage and release, you know, dances. I started off dancing. You know, I interpreted music through dance. That's why I have such an affinity toward dancing. From there is like where music started to save my life. So, you know, always feel like that. This is for the listeners. This is particularly, I'm speaking directly to the camera at this point. If you love music, and express it any way that you see fit.
That's right.
It doesn't matter if it's a guitar. It doesn't matter if it's a drum machine. It doesn't matter if you're dancing. It doesn't even matter what the artistic medium is. Just express yourself. That's number one, and do it from a pure place in your heart. And if you could do that, and you have the courage to do that, you'll find that you could do anything.
You're absolutely right. I still make music, and I'm not very good at it, but I make it because I love it. I simply love it, and I do it so that I can stay focused on the other things that I'm doing for music. You know, you define your role in this. I'm looking around, and you guys will see this when I move the camera around, that you are very accomplished. I see Tony Braxton on your bar. I see platinum record. I mean, tell us a little bit about some of the things that you've done and accomplished.
Well, let me hold this.
Yeah, go on, take that, bro. Go on, take that.
I just feel so bad. She's just like...
I like it. It's my job.
It's the best, man. But anyway, yeah, I've done all kinds of things in my lifetime, in my career. I've played with Roy Ayers. We in Pittsburgh, we were in a group when we first started out called Pencils in a Cup.
Wow.
And it featured Ime Alaquiva from Your Mom's House. He was the MC, the leader of the group. He was the Q-tip.
Yeah.
I was the Fife.
Right.
Because I'm short and brown skin, light skin. And DJ Super C, our other great friend and mentor. You know what I'm saying? Much love and respect to my brother and comrade. He lives in Phoenix, Arizona, and really Tempe, Arizona. But we started out together, and we were the guys who brought style and jazz and, you know, different things to the local scene. We were the first ones to do that. And throughout my career, like so many firsts, I was the first person to get on the stage and tell people to say 412. And I did that because the gangs at the time were dividing our city like you wouldn't believe. But then when, you know, the Roots or the Fugees or whoever would come to town, I would be the one opening up. And I would get on stage and say, it's Homewood in the house, the Hill District in the house, we're Wilkinsburg at, we're North Side, and everybody make all this noise, and then like, it was pockets and it would cause division, people wanted to fight. So then I would just be like, well, where y'all from? Say 412. That was before 724 came out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which is the other area.
The other area, right.
So I used to do that. So Masai, like, and Saeed and Chad Glick and E. Dan of Strict Flow fame, who eventually, you know, Chad Glick found Wiz Khalifa. E. Dan produces Wiz Khalifa. He owns ID Lab. Saeed is now Pittsburgh Slim, signed by Jay-Z himself.
Wow.
And Masai, of course, is the front man of Formula 412. You know, at the time, you know, they documented it and said, like, Akil, you know, you were bringing the city together. So that always stayed in their hearts, and Masai ended up naming the band after that.
Wow.
A Formula
for bringing the
Pittsburgh
city together.
And that's kind of what our band was. So that's one of the major accomplishments in my life. In terms of just playing with national artists, I produced Fantasia Barrino. She's a good friend. We played with her here at the August Wilson Center, my band, her band. I produced records for her that didn't make her album, but we did some stuff. Last year I worked with Cassidy and Jadakiss, which was an amazing experience because I love them so much. I used to play guitar. Wyclef used to show me guitar. I got plenty of photos of that. Right here on the Ave before he was famous.
Wow.
I'm real good friends with De La Soul, Public Enemy.
see Tony Braxton on your wall.
Yeah, I did some ghost production for them. I did some drum programming in Atlanta back in the days, and you know, it was great working at LaFace. I had a relationship with some of the members of TLC, and of course, Left Eye passed away. I was at the funeral. You know, I was there when Mac 10 and T-Boz was like thinking about getting married. Like, I just been around the game. I was always the dude that was like always on the cusp of something great. And I feel like, you know, God does things in His time. So I'm very patient, and I'm waiting for my opportunity to do something huge. And so until that happens, instead of sitting around talking about people and things and events, I decided to better myself with a regimen of, and I'm going to just say this real quick because I feel like I need to say this. I do a regimen every day that entails of 8 to 14 hours a day of doing music production, writing. Whereas like I did this all last year. Whereas, you know, most people who make beats have a job, kids, they want to go to the club or the strip bar or whatever. I'm going to be at events, me, look at me. Well, instead of doing all of that and complaining and hating on people and all that, which you can easily get caught up in here, I just went home and decided to practice for 8 to 14 hours every day for an entire year or a year and a half after my mother passed away in 2010. Now I feel like I'm on a whole different like level of being an adult, being a spiritual person, like a mentor to children and young people and people of my peer group or whatever. And I also feel like as a musician and a music producer, you know, I'm doing things that like most people won't do. They don't read manuals. They don't, you know, play and try to, I don't know, incorporate different styles of music into their thing. You know, I do it all. I try to do it all. So, you know, if you want to be like where I'm at, it takes 8 to 14 hours a day for at least a year. Because I'm following the principles of a guy named Malcolm Gladwell. Have you ever heard of him?
I have not.
Malcolm Gladwell has written a book called Outliers. And this book talks about the concept of any artist anywhere putting in putting in 10,000 hours, period, to become genius level of what it is that they do. And he gives examples of the Beatles, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Serena Williams, Jimi Hendrix, all these people who put in over 10,000 hours to be extremely elite at what it is that they do. And that's what I want to do, and I'm striving toward, is to be the best that I can be, so that when I present whatever projects that I'm blessed to do, I'm just on another level, you know?
Well, I want to be like you when I grow up. I'm trying to be like him when I grow up. Stop. I don't even have 10,000 hours. I mean, crazy.
It's a sacrifice. Though, right?
It really is. You know what? I think my 10,000 hours is continually learning something new.
Yeah.
With me personally, I learned these things. So, anyway, that's me.
Very important. Very important. Very important.
Do you think that in that, you know, with your mother passing, I know that was very, very difficult for you. In that year of you being in here, do you think that healing helped in this process of you learning and doing that 8 to 14 hours a day with this music? Do you think you were healing as well when you were in that process?
Well, I think a lot of things happened there, and healing is definitely a part of that, because we're talking about music. And you know, when you talk about music, I study music on many different levels. I know I'm out of the camera shot, but I wanted to show everybody this book here called Healing with Music and Color. You know what I'm saying? I'm just putting
it up there. Yeah,
so y'all can see that. I don't know if y'all can see with the lights.
They can see it.
Healing with Music and Color.
Nice.
Okay, so like this right here is a book that, you know, started me off on a journey to learn about like the healing properties of vibration. Like for example, middle C vibrates at 255 vibrations per second, also correlates to the color red. Red gives you energy. I decided to wear red today, not because, being from Homewood, not that I'm not like true to my blue Crip roots or whatever, but like because I just came back from Memphis, Tennessee early this morning, and I'm very tired. So red gives me an energy booster to want to just go through my whole day, because I have recording sessions, or a beautiful interview, a lot of things, and learning that stuff through this kind of study, which I completely did on my own, separates, you know,
you from. I would like to read that book. Yeah. You know, is there anything in particular that you would like to share with my viewers, my JPBTV viewers?
One, Follow your dreams. Doing music, you should follow your dreams. It's not about equipment. It's not about money. Everybody want to try to make money. Money validates art. Music is not about money. Art is not about the acquisition of money. And it doesn't take a lot of money to get to where you need to go. Yes, you do need to invest in your talents. It's very important that once you develop yourself, or as you continue to develop yourself, you also seek out a team of people. It takes a team of people to do things on a professional level. So once you have a team, and you have practice, and you have a dream, now you have to set up goals. Once you establish these goals, you can achieve goals with different tactics. You can assign people to do different jobs and stay in their lane. And as you just stay in your lane and do your specific job, you get closer to your goals, and then you reach your dreams. And that's what's most important. My name is Akil Esoon. I'm the keyboard player for Formula 412. And thank you, JPB.